Hello, my name is Apple of Doom and welcome to another Geometry Edge building video. In the last episode, we finally finished up the end screen, getting in all those lovely details. Just a bit off camera, I ended up increasing the size of the text and everything here because people found it a little difficult to see on smaller device screens. So hopefully this should be a lot better. But there's one part of the level I've been neglecting for quite some time, and that is this area in here. Now, I want this area to be kind of like an open garden sort of area with like waterfalls and greenery and all that sort of thing, because it's like a bridge between these two giant sections here. And so I actually have some levels that I want to use as inspiration. I have a list here of inspirations for my easy level, and so I'm gonna release this once the level's actually finished. But the two I want to look at today are Marjoram by Dog Goes Woof and Tranquility by Dingosaurus211. What a username. Marjoram has some absolutely beautiful art, and I'm surprised it was rated featured, not epic or anything like that, which I'm very surprised by because I absolutely love the art in this and it definitely deserves more. The main area I'm inspired by is this area with the kind of brown gates or whatever, lattice, the brown lattice in the background. And all these sort of pots and trees and greenery that pops out of the ground. I really want to incorporate stuff that looks like that into my own level. Now, I absolutely love the way the brick is done here. The greenery is very, very detailed, so I'm not going to go that in depth because it's actually lagging my computer a little bit. But man, the art in this level is absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend playing this for yourself to see what it's like. But I don't think I'm going to go as detailed as this level does, but I do want to include the kind of lattice in that one area and a lot of different, leaves and greenery and things. And then of course in Tranquility, this level has a bit of a different vibe and a different art style as well that uses a lot of these new 2.2 kind of detail objects to create patches of grass and leaves and that sort of thing. But what I'm more interested in is this area because I absolutely love the structuring and like the whole vibe. I love the pieces of glow to make it feel different. Oh, it's just great. Because I'm kind of going for that sort of style, but I guess in a different color and a bit of a different architectural style. Because you can see this area also had like the waterfalls and things, and I thought that was great. Oh, okay, just ignore the fact I died. Yeah, highly recommend checking out this level as well. So getting into it, I think I might want to start with the structuring. I think I want to model these structures after the ones I kind of saw in Tranquility, those big structures. I don't know how else to explain it, whatever. I'll put an image of it up on screen if I remember. But they kind of incorporated a lot of those archways that I really liked, so I think I'm going to try and do that. I always forget, now that we're in 2.2, I can just use these objects and warp them around for a much nicer time. So I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing this. I think this could really work as something, maybe like a platform that looks like this. And then like on a new layer, this would be kind of behind it all. So you'd like hop on this area and this will be in the background. I think this could work. And I really liked the arch they had on top. So I might try and just scale this up until it works. Maybe not with the point on top, but like a little round thing. Okay, maybe a little smaller. Yeah, like a little structure like that. That could be pretty cool. And then how about I move this structure over to here? Oh, it's not as long. I don't think it'd work as well. Because I was thinking I want to include those kind of lattice pieces as well. So I might put them here instead. I'm just worried this isn't going to be as viewable once you come out of the transition of this area. So I'm going to hide all these for now. And then I'm going to color correct these. So I think I'm going to use color 40, which has been kind of the base color for pretty much everything I've been using. So this is B110, and then I'll put these all on B2, I guess. And then I can make these darker, so we'll make these 41. I think that looks a little too dark actually. If I go to this, change this to maybe 39, and then change this to 40, I think that might be a bit of a better color balance. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I just realized, what group are these on? These are all B2. Okay, I want all of this to be layered on top. We'll say T2. There we go. And that means all of it will appear over. And also, this has been bugging me for a while. I haven't been bothered to fix it, but this should all be like T4. I think that'll fix that. Okay, this looks interesting. What I could do is have a couple of these warped in a bit to create, I don't know, like a cool 3D effect. And then I can have these layered underneath, and then they'll each be, I don't know, maybe If I make them brighter than the last one, it will look like it's kind of curving in. All right, that looks good. And then I might try and warp this out a bit and have it come in like this, maybe. I don't know, I'm spitballing. I don't know, I don't quite like that. I don't know, something like that. I should definitely layer this differently, because otherwise I'm just struggling trying to piece it all together the entire time. Yeah, I think that looks really cool actually. Maybe instead of having these blocks here, I'll just copy these up. That way it keeps in line with the kind of design language we've been using. I think I will also go into here, warp this all the way up. Put this on kind of like a light opacity white sort of color. Maybe that'll work. I also don't know about this being lighter. I actually might want it darker. How does that look darker? Yeah, I think that works better actually. Actually, I kind of want to grab all of this and make it a lighter color. Yeah, I think that's got a nice effect to it actually. What I might even do is maybe if I grab this and put this up there, it'll look like it's kind of also part of the foreground, something like that. And that looks like you kind of go through it, which means I should probably darken all this. Although I think that looks a little too dark. Yeah, I think that blends in a lot nicer. I don't think it looks round enough, actually. What I might do is grab some of these pieces, shrink them down like that. I'm not quite getting the look I want for it. Maybe something like that. This could work. All right, I'm just gonna put a start pause down and see how that looks. All right, you can't see the very top of it, but I think that fits very nicely, actually. I'm very happy with that. I think I'll get all the structuring in first and then add in all the greenery kind of after I've sorted that all out. So next I'll move on to doing, I don't know, the lattice kind of structures here, which I think I can just construct with these pieces, make them the brown that we've been using the whole time. So I'll have one that's kind of lower than the other to kind of create that effect. Yeah, you can see the kind of vibe I'm kind of going for. I think I'll convert all of these into the kind of white line pieces here. And I kind of want this to be the same type of wood that's used in these boxes here. So maybe if I just copy one in its entirety, kind of shift it all up, and then I can grab this kind of wooden thing here. It's a bit of a darker color, so I think I might try and darken this up as well, just so it all matches. Might try and offset it a little bit. Let's see how it looks kind of offset. Looks really cool actually. Although it's kind of weird how the edges kind of just end here. So I might just grab this, rotate it, add it there. Is that good? Yeah. What if I added kind of this structure in here? Would that kind of work? At that point it's kind of wood on wood, so I may as well just remove everything that's kind of under like this. Yeah, and I think that works a lot better. Yeah, I think that actually works quite well. What if I did something a bit different for the top? Like this sort of thing. Kind of just looks bare. I don't know how I feel about that actually. What if I do something like that? No, it still just looks wrong. I have no idea. This is not like working out for me in the slightest. You know what? I can't be asked. That'll have to do. Unless it's just a strip like that. Actually, that looks way better. Why didn't I not do that from the start? Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I think what I might do though, darken up this a little bit, maybe? I don't know, does that work? I'm gonna pull this down to 1, and then I'm gonna put this wherever it crosses over. Oh, and of course I didn't layer it correctly. Wow, I feel like that barely makes a difference. Very cool. But anyways, I think that'll be a good base, and then I can put kind of greenery and that sort of thing off the top of it. Because then I can just grab all of this, move it down here. Oh, now all this doesn't line up properly. Oh, are you kidding me? I feel like that could be connected in some way. Maybe if I have one that goes kind of diagonally like this, and then I'll just put on the same layer as this. So this will be 19.8 brightness B210. Okay, you know what? I think it'll look good if I put a thing over the top of it like this. Oh, of course it doesn't line up. That's great. So instead I'll use one of the 3D line ones, because you can't warp solid objects, which is really annoying, or objects that have a hitbox rather. There we go, that roughly works. Looks a little hokey pokey, but like whatever. Hokey pokey. How old am I again? What the? I'm not sure what to do for the spikes here. I feel like there needs to be more things up the top, so maybe I'll put some more of this lattice. What if I just like did something like that? And then I can use some of the spikes from over here. Maybe we'll use these ones. There we go, I think that contrasts enough. All right, let's see how this looks in this mode. Oh, it looks like you can land on that. Yeah, these need to go up higher because it kind of looks like you can land on them. There we go, that looks a lot better. What I'll also do is fix up the hitboxes for this because I realize you can just go directly through it. All right, let's see how this looks in like normal mode. This looks really cool. Yeah, very happy with that. All right, this is working out a lot better. This is going so much smoother than I thought it'd be. But now we get onto this. I'm not sure how I want this key to be. I think first of all, I'm gonna go onto the same layer as this beehive. I'm just gonna like grab a bit of it to get the proper colors. I lost it. I don't know where it went. And I want to create, instead of like a key, I want it to be honeycomb. I think that'd be a really cool way of, I don't know, incorporating it or something along those lines. All right, that looks good. That's a little honeycomb key thing, I guess. Does that look like honeycomb? I don't know. But how you access it, I'm actually not sure on, because this is like you go up here and then you come down here. I think that's cool because it's like you're going up the waterfall. And I think it also works having these kind of hidden in the waterfall a little bit, but I think I might change this. I don't like this here. What I might do is actually have it so that the waterfall is like the secret part, if that makes sense. Like you're not supposed to hit it. And so then this will become the normal route and this is the secret key route. Yeah, how about that? You go through the waterfall and the waterfall is like this nice secret hidden off area, but like you're supposed to jump over this. So what if there's like a little ramp here that you kind of fly over? What if I pull this down by one? Okay, I'm cooking. All right, how does that look then? Oh, how does that play rather? Hey, okay. That gives you no time to react. Okay, so how about instead, this is all raised a bit, and then you jump over some rocks, and then you splash down at the waterfall again. How would that look? Yeah, that plays a lot better. So how do you hit? That's the better question now, because this is really tight. What if there's a blue pad that's just a little bit up, so it's a little bit easier to hit, and I like hide it? Whoa, yeah, that works. I actually think it would be better if I pull this up then. There. Actually, what if I just did something like that where it goes over and then it's like a small jump, so it's a lot easier. There we go. I think that could work. And then, you know, just as some added effect, could add some drips from the roof. I think that'll be a bit nicer. I've got an idea. What if the rocks are kind of at the end there, and not only that, but I'll extend up this ramp just a smidgen. It'll be one of those things where it's like, I'll have the entire thing hidden, and so you don't know what's inside here, and so it's only after you pass through it, you go, hey look, there was a thing here, and there was a thing here, and then it'll make you want to replay it and be like, oh, I want to get the coins. Does that make sense? Because I kind of did the same thing here, where you can see there's got the two bells that looks like you can get, and then I did the same thing here, where you can kind of see the key if you go the normal route, and you can see this locked bit when you do the normal route as well. So it's all about enticing the player. I actually don't know whether I like having this lattice piece here. What I'm gonna do is grab it, just like move it up into the middle of nowhere, and I'm gonna grab this entire thing and move it over where this is. Actually, I might even knock these up and just like add this here. No, that looks too high. Wait, this could work. And then the ramp is off the edge of here, like that. Yeah. Wait, what if I have another one of these gentler ramps here? I'm just gonna turn on hitboxes to make sure it's the right way. Yeah, it's the right way. And so that'll be a bit easier to jump over. Okay, I think I'm cooking at least a little bit. I've got a little bit of cook. Okay, I think this could really work, actually. What if I just like move this all over so it lined up a bit better? It actually looks kind of weird having this like this, so I might extend it to there just so it works, and then, I don't know, extend all this up. So if I take this off for now, I take like these pieces and just like recreate it. All right, I'm really hoping this doesn't look stupid. Okay, I don't think it looks that bad. I'm gonna center these spikes so they're a bit nicer. Yeah. So you come in, and then blue, you go into this area. Bam! Boom! Boom! Spow! Blow! That's like barely making it. What I might do, just so you don't accidentally get it. No. Okay, what if instead of having kind of like these two here, what if I just have a big one? You know, what if I just like scale it up, have a big pad? No, that looks too obvious. Never mind. That was a dumb idea on my end. It just doesn't have as much oomph. So I think if I did this, make it come up a little bit at the end there, like I hide this. I'll also put no glow on all of these because it's annoying me how much it's glowing. I just realized a simpler way I could do it. I'm actually stupid. Okay, for now, I'm just gonna move this up here so I can remember it. What if I literally just like did that, had this all here or whatever, and then I have like a pad just like here, and it'll hop you over. So you have to hop over the pad. Let's see how that works. Let's see if that works at all. Whoa! No! Okay, that was way too much. I think we just need a nice little purple pad. I just realized I went under this, which isn't supposed to happen. Yeah, I think purple pad works. And then I can have like a little splashing animation come out of here. You can go like... I think that'll be cool. I'm gonna get rid of this. Bye-bye. You're not needed. But if I just jump over the pad, then it should work fine, right? Oh, okay. It's a bit more precise than I expected, but I think that's good. That's a bit of challenge. All right, so with this bit changed, I think it'd be a good idea to change up this part as well, but I'm not sure how I should do it. It just feels a little high, so I might just bring this down by like 1, and I think that should fix all the kind of weirdness I'm feeling. Yeah, that feels just a lot better. I do want to pull it back by 1, but I'm worried it's going to be too far. You know what? This doesn't need to be all the way over here. I can pull this in by 1, and I think that'll help fix it up a little bit. Because the main problem is that you're dropping down and then immediately going, and it doesn't feel great. So if I pull that whole waterfall section in a little bit, it should be fine, I think. Oh yeah, actually, no, that feels great. I can pull this one back again. Yeah, I think that feels fine. I think that's perfectly a-okay. Yippee, woohoo, let's go. Now I want to figure out how I want this part to look. Might just go to a new layer, and then I'm not sure whether I want kind of like a rocky background. Like, should I go this texture? Should I go this texture? Should I go this texture? Should I even just go this texture? What'll look the best? Let's put them all on brown. Okay, this one looks like terrible. This one could look interesting. This one looks way too basic. I think I might just go this texture, honestly. Go something like this. Maybe I'll decrease the brightness a bit so it's really in the background. And then force this B3. Sure, whatever. Even that doesn't feel like dark enough. Okay, now that feels too dark. Am I getting it the opposite way around? Do I want this one to be lighter? I do! Look at that, that improved it tenfold. Yep, that looks good. Because what I'm thinking is I'll do that for the background there, and then I can have rocks on the ground. Maybe like even like these sort of rocks, and just add in these bits in the middle. Wow, that does not work. What is the default color for that? It looks awful. What the hell? Like if I just choose 40 for both of these, looks very blue. If I get this darker, okay, this definitely needs to be inverted. Maybe not. Why does that just look awful either way? I don't think I even need that actually. If I just get like one of these, make it dark, and then put it way behind, I save objects and it looks better. Yeah, you can see the vision of that. Alright, so I think I want to actually move this up a bit. Just like playing it, this whole thing feels a bit low. So maybe what I'll do is grab all of this, even this, just move it up a bit. That could be good. Maybe do a bit of that. There, I think that could work. And then I'll grab maybe this, put this up here, and then I can grab this, move this up, and then put this all into place, and that'll be good. And I think that'll be a bit more space. I think that will feel a bit better to go onto. All right, let's see how this looks, or rather plays. I think what I might do even is something like this where it pops you up a little bit more than expected. I could do one of these type deals. This is a very, I guess, Serpunge way of doing it. Something like that. And then I'm sure I've got like this color. Nope, that's not right. Why does it still look white? Yeah, something like that. All right, let's see how that plays. Whoa, wait. What do you mean I can do that? That was, whoa. If I jump late on that, I can, okay. Let's patch that up real quick. That feels a lot better, actually. I might even do another one like a little bit up as well. I'm just worried it will look like a mess in like the normal mode, so let's try it out in the normal mode and see if it is a mess. Actually, that looks fine. That looks absolutely fine. I mean, I've got to change up the don't fade, don't enter, but I think that's great. Now, only problem is, can you make it over that? I'm putting like way too much effort into this, honestly. I actually think I want to raise this one higher just so you don't get stuck on this when you're coming down, because that didn't feel good. Yeah, I think that works well. You still kind of clip the edge, but that's whatever. This is a bit of a tricky jump though. I think I actually want to remove that a little bit, warp this back down how it was. I think that'll make for a bit of a nicer time. Because if you're just playing this normally, you're not going to think to kind of jump over it. And I'm pretty sure if you jump into it, it should be fine as well. Because the robot acts very strange when it comes to pads. Like, I'm not sure if it's still in the game, but there was a glitch where you could like hold at a certain point before hitting a pad and it would just like fling you up like crazy. Yeah, very hard to see, but I did hit like the edge of the pad here and it flung me up and over. So I think that's fine. It should be fine. I'm gonna test it again though because I am just like that, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. You completely missed that. That should be good. I do wish I had Mega Hack to be able to see the like moving hitbox of the robot to like ultra ensure it doesn't happen. Like I can move these over a little bit more. That should help a little bit. Or I could just have one in like the center. Maybe I can center this one as well. Yep. I think that works. That works. I'm actually not sure what I want to do with this. I think it might be cool to have this one go over and then this one come out from behind. I think that could be a really cool way of doing it. Because what I could do is grab all of these. Why are these particles attaching themselves? I don't like that. I don't know. Does that look too out of place? I don't know if that looks too strange. I think this could do with being a little darker, honestly. Oh, of course I changed one of them and not every single other one. I'm very smart. Never mind, that's too dark. Yeah, whatever, that'll do. I'm actually not sure what I want to do for this part here. I kind of want to connect this up in some way, shape, or form. Or have this do something. Let's see if I can figure out anything for that area. I don't really need to have anything there, I don't think. Unless there's some kind of platform or something. Is this the same height? I could just reuse this. This is in fact not the same. In fact, I can't talk. What the hell? This is in fact not the same height. Just fine. I can just do something like that. Scoot it over, and that'll look cool, I think. I think maybe instead of spikes, I could even have like thorns or something there. I don't know. I might do that a bit later, but I reckon that could be interesting. What I want to do next is go to a new layer. Okay, layer 11's free, and create some sort of overlay that will fade when you get close. So what I'm thinking I might actually do is take these that I kind of used and overlay them over the top, except I just remembered these are the kind of pieces that go in the middle of the rocks, so I can actually put them together in a way that will make sense. And the way I explain that makes zero sense, but it will make sense in a second. You just gotta believe. I'm starting to think this might look incredibly dumb. So if I take this all to, I don't know, like T3, set these to 23, that looks really bad. Yay! What I'm thinking I could do is take this to layer 11 and then have this as like a secret waterfall entrance. And so this giant waterfall will cover everything up, and then these other waterfalls will be like covered up by like rocks or something. You know what? I want to look at how the rocks work in Marjoram and then sort it out from there. If we go here, my FPS drops down to like very low, but I want to see how they've done these rocks because these are really, really cool. So it looks like they've... What on earth is going on here? Collision blocks, I guess. Random. So they've just used various different things and laid it over, and then they've used these sort of pieces over the top. Okay, cool. The layering here is annoying me. Why is like the... Okay, I don't like the way they've layered it. Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was that simple. It's just different shaped objects and then these sort of objects on top. What is this? This is a text object. This is really cool. This level's really cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use some rock-like structures like this, but just color it differently. So if I go to a new layer, like here, then, what's a good object to make it out of? Ooh, I think there are ones with rounded corners. Yeah, these ones. I think this could have a cool effect on it. I'll make this color. Is that too bright for a rock? I don't know, maybe if I make it 40, like everything else, that'll look a bit nicer. But now I can just create some kind of rock structures, I guess. I'll warp some of them up. I'm actually not sure whether I want to extend it all the way down or not. I think I'll get the rough shape of it out first, and then I'll think about that. Okay, that looks very rough and undetailed. I could do something on the other side as well. What are these at? T4 -5. So if I go and use those structures from before, like these ones, how does this look layered over the top? Oh, you can't see it. Okay, what if I make this way darker? There we go, now you can see it. Okay, I think this might be the way to go about it. I'm gonna create a bunch of these, and these will all be my funky wonky little rock pieces. Never let me say funky wonky again, that was disgusting. I mean, they kind of look like rocks, but I don't know if that's like working as like a hidden entrance to a waterfall type deal. Because I'm gonna have this all kind of quickly fade out and then fade back in. You know what I mean? I don't think this is looking good. Maybe it needs a bit more like texturing or something, but I'm looking at this base and I'm thinking, no. Yeah, no, this just isn't looking great. I'm thinking I might change up the top a little bit, maybe like that, and then I'm gonna grab all this, I think I'm just gonna make it lighter. If I go up to here, it just looks too blue. I need something that's a bit more gray. This could be good. Oh, it's too green, never mind. Am I really just making a new color? I really want like a light grayish blue. It looks red-ish. It looks too red against everything. Am I going crazy? Is my color theory failing me? Okay, so if I do something like that, and I go here and then turn this brightness down a little bit. Looks slightly better, I guess. I think it's just these lines that aren't doing it. What I might do is move this up and then just create everything entirely out of glow pieces instead. Which, I mean, sounds really cursed, but what I can do is if I put this all on T4 or whatever, and then I bring this down, then I can start outlining the shapes of like rocks and stuff, like in this way. You can kind of see the vibe I was trying to do, but I don't think that works. Okay, what if I do something like this and create kind of outlines for the rocks in this kind of way, using like flat pieces? I feel like I bungled that a bit, but I kind of like it. Am I weird for saying I kind of like it? What if I have just like some darker ones that go like this, and then I can add in some lighter ones to kind of imply the edges, and so we can have light come in from like a direction. Because yeah, the way it's kind of working is that the light's coming in from the left side, top left. That's kind of how I've done all the wooden structures, if you've looked at those. Alright, I don't think this is working. I think this looks like trash. I'm getting rid of all of this. And I think I might actually get rid of this waterfall as well. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, I hit enter. That's what happened, instead of delete somehow. Don't ask me how I do that, I really don't know. But what I might do is just have some rocks over the top of this and then have the waterfalls actually visible so they're like outline the thing, I guess. I don't know, whatever works. But I think that's kind of how I want it for this. I'll work on the rocks maybe in another episode or something like that. But what I'm going to do next is I need to add greenery to all this, because currently it looks very, very bare and there's nothing on the grounds. So what I'm thinking of doing is adding some, I don't know, branches with like thorns or something, and then greenery onto all these, add the flowers, you know, like these sort of things from before. I think that could look really good. So I think I'm going to do that in time-lapse form. So let's get going. Hello and welcome to the time-lapse. In this time-lapse I tried to put together all the greenery, and I started it a little unconventionally. I thought the best way to go about it would be to have some kind of greenery, like a base to it off in the background. Thought that would kind of help it pop out a bit, and then I realized it didn't quite work, so I grabbed the bits I used for the trees in the interior of the castle to try and fill out that space, and I think that helped it add a bit of fluff to it, because the kind of style I've used in this level uses a lot of shading and gradients and like the fade kind of glow. Glow is the word I'm looking for, and so to try and incorporate that, I feel like that sort of texture really helped out. The only problem was, because it's a 2.2 object, it isn't laid correctly in the editor, so that kind of messed with a lot of the stuff I was working on, which is a bit annoying, but it's whatever. And then I tried to and kind of parallax it a little bit. I feel like I should add something off in the background to kind of make it show that you're moving across the bridge, but that's neither here nor there. But I think the parallax ended up being quite alright. And then of course I moved on to all the greenery on the lattice structures. So I literally just took the kind of vines that I'd used in the kind of open swing section from before and laid them just correctly on top of here. Of course, all the flowers are using the same scale trigger, so when you get near them, they kind of pop up near you, and I think that's really cool. But the annoying thing about that is that the scale trigger, because it's a little bugged, I have it as touch triggered all the way back at the start of the level, and so starting my start pause from before the interior of the castle kind of broke that, which is a bit unfortunate. I then also added some, you would have seen I'm a bit behind now, but I added some kind of brown thorns as kind of spikes in between a couple of objects, and I think that looked alright. And then I tried to layer a couple of bushes and vines over the top of the kind of archway open area. And I think that turned out really quite nice, actually. I think it has a nice vibe to it now that there's greenery in the foreground and in the background. Or rather, in the background and in the foreground. And that really helps bring all the green forward, makes it pop a lot better. So I was really happy with that. And you'll see me, I eventually started going from the start so I could see the flowers kind of popping, and I think they looked all great. And then I ended up changing the kind of color of the flowers in the front to differentiate them from the colors in the back, or the flowers in the back. Just that kind of color difference really helps out with, you know, making it stand out, making it look visually interesting, because you don't want it to look copy-pasted. That's like the worst case scenario, is making it look copy-pasted. And so just like changing up a little bit, switching some things up, really went a long way. And then after that, I decided to add in the background some kind of boxy looking trees. I didn't want to have the same sort of tree design I had in the interior, because I thought it would kind of not clash a little, but it would be a little, again, with the copy and paste. I don't want to look like I've just copied and pasted everything. So I ended up creating a series of trees, and I tried parallaxing them, but they just didn't look right when I added that effect in. So I eventually just kept them kind of static in the background. And the other thing I tested is that there's a series of rotate triggers that are on different lengths. So when you enter within 100 blocks, it will rotate one way. When you enter within 50 blocks, it will rotate another way. When you're within 20, or not block, but units, they'll rotate a different way. And so what that does is it makes it look like the trees are kind of swaying in the wind, because this is an outdoor section, so you kind of want to sell that it's outdoor. And so by having the trees kind of move in the wind really helped out, and I think it ended up as a really cool effect. I'm really happy with it, actually. I also added in a little planter box to add them into at the beginning, because there's a large chunk of area that's kind of doesn't have much in it, because you're transitioning out of one area into the other, and I really wanted it to be kind of obvious you're transitioning between the two spaces. So yeah, I think that ended up alright. And here we get to the cliff face. So I wasn't sure whether I was going to do the cliff face or not in this episode, but I decided to just go for it. And I was inspired by the one at the end of Tranquility, where they kind of had these kind of sloped, jaggedy kind of edges, laid them up top, and then had little green splotches on top, and it looked really nice. So I tried to do a similar thing, and you'll see I just used some very rough glow to help outline it a little bit. It's a very large space, and I'm not sure it quite suits the art style, but this greenery, these little dots that I added on top, they add so much. I'm really happy with these. Just like layering them on top helps bring the focus away from how jagged the kind of colors are in the kind of cliff face itself, and brings it towards these more rounded, small little detail-y bits on front. And I think that helps out like immensely. It actually saved it from looking like trash, which I'm really happy with. And I ended up doing a number of layers of different shades of kind of blue to help build up that kind of rock. And I think that worked out quite well. I tried to add a bit of glow over the top of it, but wasn't quite sure about it. I'm not sure it achieved quite the look I was going for, but I think it turned out alright, and I really want to get your feedback on it. I really want to know if you guys think it looks alright, or if you know like another level that you like that has a similar sort of structure to it. But one thing I realized is that with having the entrance to this kind of waterfall area kind of happen so suddenly, you don't have a lot of time to react with things that happen inside the waterfall. So you'll see I added in some spikes, but I found it pretty unreactable, especially because I'm going for a 2-star, so I ended up moving the spikes a little further down onto the lattice structure. But now that I've finished this, I kind of want to go back maybe in the next episode and change up the gameplay a little bit, because I think it's a little clunky having the whole jump over the pink pad thing onto the blue pad. But yeah, that's it for the time lapse. Back to the live play. Alright, and I think I did a pretty alright job with that. Figuring this whole section out was a bit of a nightmare, and you'll see I moved the spike from here because it was just completely unreadable, and I probably explained everything a lot better in the time-lapse recording, which I haven't done yet, of course. But yeah, that's the final area of this level done. Next episode, I'm thinking of just making it like a complete time-lapse and fixing up all the details in these first couple of areas, get them like tightened up, finished up, because I can see the finish line. This is like 90% done. This is very close to being done. There's a lot of details that still need tweaking and fixing and that sort of thing, but I'm very happy with how this has turned out. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, leaving your feedback. I always read the comments and I really appreciate your feedback. If you want me to change anything, if you don't like anything or that sort of thing. Just as a reminder, the song I'm using in the showcase is a placeholder because the original is copyrighted. I forgot to say that last week and got an angry comment about that, so just gotta remember to say that. I hope you had a nice one and I'll see you in the next video.